Welcome to Trust the System Podcast. I'm Phil Gasparino, a.k.a. Phil the Thrill.
And I am Mike Sparno, a.k.a. Sparno.
And I'm Seamus Sparno, a.k.a. Scooby Scaff.
All right. So, these three lads met at this bar, Brazen Fox in Westchester, New York. White Plains, to be exact.
Great
Correct?
bar.
Good crack.
Yeah.
Good crack here. Two Italians and an Irish guy. What are the chances that this could be good? This podcast is going to be about gambling. We're three idiots, biggest losers you ever seen, and
We
Lost
lost
a lot of money.
for a very, very long time.
we got our asses kicked for a long, long time until yours truly figured out the system, along with this man over here, Scooby Scaff. Let's see. The system is very hard to explain. It's very hard to understand. When I talk to people about the system, no one really can understand it.
I didn't.
It's as simple as it gets and hard to understand at the same time. It doesn't make sense. It's like, how can you explain it to a man who...
I mean, look, everyone has an opinion. I always had an opinion that I was the greatest gambler ever. Gambled for years, never won. When I learned the system, I went against everything I ever thought, and then I started to win.
Just go the opposite.
It's almost like life almost is best if you do the opposite of what you think. And that's kind of like the system. Like, have you ever seen a bad gambler happy all the time?
Never.
I haven't.
Never.
I'll tell you that much. If I see 5 gamblers in a room, I'm assuming they lose. Like, if you tell your parents you're a gambler, I gamble, are they going to think you win?
No chance.
They think you lose. Like, everyone just assumes a gambler loses, right? So the system,
Phil, tell us the story how it all started.
we'll get into that in a minute, but how the system started was just, it was crazy because it was just a bunch of losing, and I almost quit. And I did quit, and then I said, I really can't quit because I'm a gambling addict.
You love it.
I'm obsessed.
Three degenerates.
How can you stop gambling? It's tough. So I said to myself, I'm never going to stop gambling. So let me think of something where I can figure out a way to win. So all of a sudden, it just hit me one day, and I said, why don't I just do the exact opposite of what I'm thinking every time and see how that works? And that's really the beginning of the system. That's not the whole system, but it's the beginning of it. So us three met at this bar, Brazen Fox in White Plains, and let's just get into that.
Yeah, 10 years ago, you all started working here.
Maybe more than
Yeah.
that, right?
2012.
2012.
Yeah, 2012.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And
Yeah, you're right, 10 years.
right away, we just clicked, and we were good friends, and we all gambled, and we were losers for years. We just never won, ever. And then
Let me get into the way I met Mikey Sparno here. So I got this job here. I was a doorman in the city, and all of a sudden, I mean, I hated the job. It was terrible. Like, you got a bunch of rich people. You let open the door in the city to rich people. Blah blah blah. It sucks. I called Vinny, our boy Vinny, who will be on this show eventually. He actually got me and him both a job here, and
It's a good guy.
I just called him one day. I'm working in the city. I got my uniform on. I say, Vinny, can you get me a job at Brazen? Man, I'm dying over here. This job sucks. He goes, actually, we need someone. Why don't you come in and meet him? I go, all right, no problem. I turn the door. I quit the job immediately before I had the job. Came in and actually got the job. Miracle.
yep,
So the way I meet this guy, I don't know. He must have got the job the same way.
same way. Yeah, me and Vinny were up together, went to high school together, good friend of mine, and he knew I needed a job, and so just come in, go for an interview, and got me and Phil a job at the same time.
We got the job at the same time. I never seen this guy in my life. I pull up to the parking lot on my first
Everyone
day.
thought we were friends. Everyone thought we
Yeah,
knew
everyone-
each other right away. Like, oh, you guys knew each other for years. I'm like, no, I never met this guy in my life. They thought we were best friends.
Two losers.
Just the way we were.
I come up to the parking lot behind the bar, park my car. I get out of the car. I see this guy drinking a beer in the car. I'm like, he's got the Brazen uniform on. Let me talk to this guy. I'm like, are you working here at Brazen today? He goes, yeah, I'm drinking a couple beers before work so I can get ready. So I'm like, all right, let me get in there.
Yeah. Because we're both nervous. We never really bartended before, really, and we come here and like it's like very busy bar, and we were like kind of nervous, so we just started drinking together, like just to get the get the edge off.
If you're from Westchester, New York, you know Brazen Fox. All right, so
Yeah, but real quickly, the way I got in is completely different.
yes,
Being Irish, you know how to bartend, trust
so
me.
either
So I came up here.
you be Irish or no Vinny. That's the only way you get
So
in
I didn't
here.
know Vinny from anyone, but I went up, I met the owner, and I'm like, look, I want Friday, Saturday, Thursday, I want all the good shifts.
This guy gets
I was
the
like,
shifts, of course.
give me the shifts or I'm not coming. And of course,
cunt.
yeah. And the owner's Irish, so he just looked at me and goes, I'll give you whatever you want. FYI, I hired these two new guys. I want you to train them.
They're both
And
Italian
that's-
idiots.
Yeah. And that's when I ran into these two.
Yeah.
And that was when literally this all probably started, which is
Yeah.
pretty nuts when you think about it.
So I'm guessing, it's hard to remember, it's 10 years ago, obviously, but I'm guessing the way we started talking about gambling was I must have seen Sparno staring at the TV like a maniac, changing all the channels to get his games on. Staring.
For some
Yeah.
random channel like
he's got
ESPN.
he's got the droopy black eyes like he's been up for weeks, losing a fortune, I'm sure. I'm like, yo, you gamble?
Yeah, I'm already down a little bit.
I gamble a little.
I'm like, what you got in this game? He's like, probably the loser. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, whatever. Lose comes to worst. The way I met him, I remember we're bartending on a busy Saturday night, and it's crazy. And I'm, the computer screens are kind of facing each other, so we'd be like this on
It's
the
a
other
square
side
bar,
of the computer
so-
screen, square bar. And a fucking Taylor Swift song comes on, and we're both singing the song. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, he's singing the fucking song. I'm like, who the hell is
We
this guy?
look into each other's eyes and
We're looking at each other. We're both singing it, and we turn and we come around. We're like, "Hey, I'm Phil.
Yeah.
What's going on?"
best friends.
Oh, nice to meet you. And after that, we became best
And
friends.
he's like, I'm smart. I'm like, I don't care.
All right. So how'd you guys meet though?
So
Well, he loves this story.
Yeah, this
'Cause
is one of my favorite
he started
stories
like
because-
a month after me, 2 months after me.
Let's go.
And
after both of you, yeah,
he's been bartending. He's like, he's born to be a bartender.
Born.
Irish.
literally worked
And,
20 years.
He came out with a bottle in his hand.
Yeah.
And I
remember.
didn't know what the hell I was doing, and he like basically trained me, even though he started like a month after me.
Which
And
was,
he
yeah,
loves
was
that story.
weird.
He still talks about it 10 years later.
Yeah, no,
That he's
real-
like, oh yeah, this guy came in here, and now I had to train him. I'm like, yeah, because you did this your life. I just started doing this.
But the thing is,
Actually, me and him both never bartended in our lives before we got this job. We both faked that we bartended.
which is insane because it's one of the best.
And it's one of the hardest jobs to
I've worked
get.
in bars for 20 years, and this is probably the best bar job there is.
One of the hardest jobs to get. We both
say in the country,
lied
maybe
about
the world.
bartending, and we both somehow made it
We
through.
made it. We made it. So that's all that matters.
the bar manager comes to me one day after working for like 2 days. He's like, do you want to teach these new guys? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, yo, they worked here longer than me. I'm not teaching them, but I worked for like two weeks. Next minute I meet Sparno. We're working together, and like immediately I know he doesn't have a clue what's going on. So I'm like, you know what? Let me take him under my wing because he's one of my best friends. He's a good guy. He's funny. So I'm like, I'm going to show him how to change beer. So I take him downstairs. We change a keg. Come upstairs. I had to go and change another one. I come on down. I'm like, do you see what I'm doing? He's like, yeah, I see it.
He's not
So,
paying attention.
he's not
I know
paying
this
atten-
guy.
Not at all. So the third time it happened, I'm like, do you want to go and change that beer? It was a Stella. So he's like, yeah, no problem. So he goes away. It's just me and him working. It's a quiet Monday night. It's like 10 minutes later. I'm like, where is this guy? So I was like, I run downstairs. I open the beer fridge, and this man has like somehow like opened the keg. It's blowing Stella all over the place. It's all in his head. It's over his phone. And he's just got his hand. He's just got his hands on the dress.
It's shooting the ceiling.
Still everywhere. How could that even happen?
I don't know.
I don't even know how he done it, and I've seen that for years, and I still don't know how he done it. But
I have no idea I did that.
after that, I was like, look, just like stick with me because this job, people like if they think you don't know what you're doing. And you're making the money together, they don't like that stuff, you know. So I was like, I like this guy, I like these guys. I was like, let's stick together, and that's kind of how everything started. Like we had each other's backs probably from the get-go.
We
Yeah,
clicked.
yeah.
Us three clicked. It's always been good. We've never had a bad time together in the history of knowing each other, and it's always been fun. All right. So the system has been good for many a year. It's been good since I think I first invented the system in 2018, right?
Yeah.
The only bad year I've had is 2020 during COVID, where I just couldn't figure it out, and I don't know why, and I still don't know why today. The reason why this podcast is coming out is because we're sure about the system. This is called Trust the System Podcast, and the reason for that is because we always trust the system. And there's reasons for that, and you're going to see as we go on, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can simplify it down if you really want to. It's like, look, any gambler who's listening, you know you bet the whole season and you might win 30% of the time if you're lucky. You lose the other 70%. With the system, you're on the other end of that.
You're on the other end, exactly.
So you're not going to win every single time. No one can win every single time.
And
It's not 100%.
it's extremely hard for someone to go against their gut. And that's the whole thing about Vegas. That's the whole thing. I feel like there's a psychology behind it where they try to kind of lean you towards a certain way of betting.
Yeah, the lines especially, and then
You gotta
honest
be able to see that.
sport shows, any media that you pay attention to, it's in relation to sports. It's almost trying to get you to
It's
go.
trying to get you to go one
Trying
way.
to persuade you away.
They're persuading you to go one way. You can see it. Once you listen to this podcast and you see it, you will know. You're gonna be like, you know what? These guys know what they're fucking talking about.
And since like gambling has become legalized, it's pretty much legalized across all of America. I mean, most of it really anyway. You're going to see now that they push that agenda even forward. Vegas, I don't want to name names, but like an example, like ESPN, Fox Sports, all those ones, they're all
Big time.
they all want you to lose your money.
Yeah, and they put a stat up, like some retarded stat. Oh, Aaron Rodgers never lost a home game in 10 years. Like, all right.
Yes.
And then it's like, you can't lose
That's
again.
one of
Yes.
those things. That's one of those
And
things.
that's when you go out drinking with your friend. It's like, well, what do you bet? I bet Green Bay. Why? Because Aaron Rodgers hasn't lost a game in 13 years.
Yeah.
And that then what?
Exactly.
He loses his game right there.
The
and then.
one
It's-
great thing about us being bartenders is that since we realize what the system really is, we're not going to go on about the system today, but we can see 5 people come into the bar. They all have one bet. What are we
You
taking?
know right away.
What are we
they
taking,
lost.
boys?
Opposite.
straight away.
Opposite.
Other team.
Immediately.
Other team.
If you're with your friends and you all think someone's great, don't bet that.
Other team.
There's no way everyone's going to be happy. It's going to be a great day. And everyone's winning.
All these gamblers are going to be fucking ecstatic, jumping up and down because we won.
Not a chance.
Come on, think about it.
The reason
Wake up.
Vegas is because the public
People like that.
People like
lose
us.
all their money.
People like us.
It's
Yeah.
still. I'm
We're-
still a person like
we're
that,
them.
man.
Yeah.
We're them, but we just know to do the other way.
Not all the time though. It's sometimes tough,
Sometimes tough.
but
They,
you,
But look,
they do win sometimes.
The
but
basic thing about the system is the opposite. But there's so much more that goes behind it, which you will see in this podcast. There's a lot of different things that go behind it. Sometimes you don't want to bet it. Sometimes the opposite is not the right bet, obviously, because we got to win sometimes too,
Look,
the
yeah.
idiots.
every
Right?
every idiot will tell you a story how they won, and that's what keeps you coming back.
Yes.
So Vegas for their lines are very particular. They put lines a certain way, and sometimes you win, but more times you lose.
More times you lose.
yes.
And that's what keeps you coming
I
back
always
for
say,
more.
what's the worst thing that could possibly happen to a gambler? The answer is win.
Wins a bet. I think that's actually what happened to me. Because before I bet. I used to grow up in Ireland. We have betting shops over there called bookies, so it's almost like off-track betting. Through my whole college years, I used to spend all my time in there, and I was betting like literally like single dollars. Back then, that was a lot of money. Lost. So you know what? After I graduated college, I'm like, you know what? I got to take my losing talents to America. Came across, and I started to lose so much money. I met Sparno, and he
Even worse.
I made you feel good about yourself.
he explained to me baseball, which honestly to this day, is my least favorite sport to bet on, and the least one I
Baseball
understand.
is horrible.
Horrible.
It's,
Horrible.
Do not bet baseball.
Because there's some pitcher that is like an
Not
ace.
bad.
I think
I've
he's gonna
lost
play
so
great,
much money on baseball.
and he sucked.
Do not bet baseball. There's
Baseball
no way
will-
of
yeah.
betting. There's no way to win baseball. No way.
Baseball is
Zero
not-
chance.
If you want to
you're
come
gonna,
for
you might as-
baseball
you might as
betting,
well bet a dog.
it's not for the system. The system is not baseball.
System, no baseball.
I want to tell you guys something right now. Us three are not here to tell you we're here and we're going to give you every single bet that's going to win. We're here to tell you a system that's going to eventually work over time.
Yeah. Overall, you gotta be a winner.
All right? You're going to become a winner instead of a loser if you follow us. And I'm guaranteeing it. Guaranteed. Guarantee I'm going with the rock.
He's going.
All right? So look, I'm going to go on a tangent here. I'm going to tell you guys a story about my first big gambling loss when I was an idiot.
This is good.
When I was 16 years
I hope.
old. All right? So, when I was 16, I might have been 15, I don't know, whatever. I started gambling and I was betting like $30 a game. Which might not seem
big
a
ball.
lot to us nowadays with gas being $30 a gallon, but but back then it was
Close
a lot.
enough.
So, and I'm 16. I have no job. I'm an idiot. I'm in high school. I'm gambling on. It was basketball. I was doing a lot of college and NBA basketball at the time, and
You were in a band back then, right?
I
Were-
was not a man.
You were
A what?
in a band.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it was a little later.
Yeah, it was different time. Different time. So, all right. Back then, the way to gamble, I mean, I'm sure most of you might know, you had to get the newspaper, daily news, look at the lines, you call in the bet.
It was before internet.
You say, if I'm betting $30 in a game,
Everything's 5
six
times.
times. 6 times so whatever the bet, whatever money you're trying to bet on the game is 5 times the amount of the times.
Yeah.
How do I explain that?
So you bet $100, you've been 20 times.
20
so
times.
everything's times 5.
So if you're betting $30 in a game, it's 6 times. All right. So you call it in 6 times on the Knicks.
It's
all
always,
right?
I'm Phil.
Yeah, this is Phil
the
Gasparino,
Thrill.
Phil the
Phil the
Thrill, and I got 6 times on the Knicks and 6 times on the Jazz.
And you're shitting your
Boom.
pants, betting
And
$30.
I'm like, oh my God, every game is crazy. So, and it was so important to me, $30. It's a lot. I didn't have a job. I'm an idiot. So, what happened was, me and my boys, there's a lot of us. There's like 20 of us, man, because it was my boys and my boy's older brother and his friends too. So they were like 18 and we were like 16. I'm gonna go with 15 and 17. Let's say that.
All degenerate losers, probably.
Bunch of idiots. I mean, we're fucking
Your kids.
white kids in Catholic
Yeah.
school. If we lose a lot of money, if we lose $30, it's not the end of the world. Whatever. Mom, can I have $30 for lunch? All right. Whatever. So, whatever. What happened was, one of my boys, Justin, finds this guy online on the internet, which is kind of new back then.
Yeah.
And his name was Bob.
Bob the Boogie.
No, Bob was a guy who gave us picks. He was like what we are for this podcast.
System Bob.
So, but
But
there's
fade.
so many of these guys nowadays. I mean, but back then it was like you find one and you think he's like
Bob,
the truth.
Bob's the greatest.
He's the truth. Like this guy's the truth. He knows what he's doing. So Bob had picks, right? So he's giving us picks. He's giving us picks. We had to call Bob. We had to Western Union him money in order to get
No.
picks in the A&P. So we had to we had to steal money from our parents,
Oh
go
my
to the
God.
Western Union, send him money,
And then he would get back
and
to
then
you.
he'd give us picks. Right? So this was like, it would be like $20. Send him $20, he sends us picks, right? Whatever. He gives us picks. He's doing all right. Nothing crazy. We're doing good. I mean,
Could be giving you
we're not
favors for all
doing
you know.
great. We're betting $30 a game. One day he calls us and he goes, Justin, I got the lock, the ultimate lock.
Biggest play of the season.
Yeah. This is
biggest
where the system
play.
comes in opposite.
I wish I would have known the system back then. So, but hey, it all comes into play. Bob calls with a lock. He's like, you got to give me $100 for this pick. We're like scrambling together money. We got to get this pick. We're all scrambling together. My boys, our older brother's boys, everyone. Trying to get $10 each to get this guy's pick, right? So we go to the AMP, we Western Union him the money. It was like, his name was something different. It wasn't Bob. It was fucking, what was it? Whatever.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. It was Randy Levine. Was his name.
No.
Randy Levine, I remember. So we Western Union the money to Randy Levine. He calls us up. He goes, I'm with the group. we're all thinking about the pick, blah, blah, blah. I got the pick. We're going to call you back in 10 minutes. We're all sitting in my boy's basement. There's like 20 of us in there. We're like, I can't wait
This
for
wasn't
Bob's
Bob. This
pick.
is just some random
It's
guy.
Bob.
Oh, it is Bob.
Like, you can't wait for Bob's pick. It's going to be great. We're going to automatic. We're going to put $1,000 in this game each. We're betting $30 a game back then. And we're all going to bet $1,000 in this game now because we're ready for Bob's pick and we think it's going to be a lock.
Yeah.
Right? And we fell for it. We fell for it. So Bob comes back with the pick. It's the Utah Jazz against the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, I can't remember exactly the year of the game, but whatever. All I remember is he tells us the Jazz is the pick. They might have been like +3 or -3. It's a close spread, right? So we're like, I remember vividly that we're all like, the Knicks are gonna dominate, and it was the Celtics. The Knicks are playing the Celtics this night, right? The Knicks are playing the Celtics, and we're like, yo, the Knicks are gonna dominate the Celtics tonight. But we're taking Bob's pick for $1,000. But we're also gonna put $30 in the Knicks.
$30.
Because
Nice.
Doliak's gonna kill Shaq, and that's when Michael Doliak was the fucking backup center on the Knicks, and we all loved him for no reason at all. And Shaq was the center on the Celtics back then. And we took the Knicks 32. We took the Knicks 6 times for $30.
You won that one?
Easy on that one.
And we bet $1,000, 200 times. I remember calling in. I go, I need 200 times on the Jazz. And he goes, let me call you back.
And you didn't have that money, anyway, right?
No, I didn't have the money. So he calls me back, and he changed the line.
No, he went to +4, did he?
He says, let me call you back, because he knew what we were doing, kind of. Because he heard us all calling in at the same time. And he goes, let me call you back. And he changed the line a little bit, which it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Yeah, but you could always,
But he
whenever you do that, you guys
What we should have done was the opposite, yeah.
Say I want.
But your 16-year-old kids.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
We're idiots.
Come on.
So he goes, let me call you back. He changed the line a little bit. And we're like, all right, doesn't matter. It's a lock.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want,
We don't care. I want
Make it
200
10.
times on the
Make it 10.
You
Jazz.
hear the lock.
So
lock.
we put 200 times on the Jazz each, all of us, a bunch of 16-year-old kids with no money and no jobs, just in high school like idiots.
Bombed.
And we put 6 times on the Knicks because we knew Doliak was going to dominate Shaq, right? So I remember watching. We're in my boy Justin's house. And we're watching this game on the phone because it's on TV, and it's old school, refreshing like every 20 minutes. And it's the worst fucking game ever.
Yeah.
It's like 30% field goal percentage, both teams. Andre Kirilenko was blocking every single shot. Nobody can make anything. The halftime score was like 30-32. It was insane.
God.
I remember, this is so funny. At halftime, we got a call from Bob.
From Bob.
I need $100, bro.
It's a call from Bob at halftime, and we're all so nervous, man. We're all like, I mean, we got $1,000 in this game. We got no money.
It's like $1 million right now.
It's $1 million.
Yeah.
So we're all so nervous. And Bob's like, it's not Bob, but it's a prank call from my boy's older brother who goes, this is Bob. We're going to turn off the lights in the stadium. Don't worry.
How did he know you?
We're thinking it might happen.
Please, black
We're
out.
thinking the stadium's going to black out and we just like cancel the bet because we're like so nervous about it. But whatever. It's so stupid. We lost. We lost the bet. It was a terrible game. We lost the bet. Lost $1,000 each. We had no money to pay it. We had to borrow from. The Knicks fucking dominated that night.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing about it
it'd be
is
970
the
instead
next
of-
day in the newspaper, Doliak dominated Shaq. He's like on the front page, like posting him up. Like,
It's just like you saw it.
Doliak killed Shaq. He like his best game ever, and we all said Doliak's gonna dominate.
Yeah.
We all love Doliak for some stupid reason.
So you lost 970 instead of 1,000 at least.
We lost 970. Thank
Yeah.
God. No, 1,000 because
Because
the
of
vague,
no,
yeah.
worse.
1070.
1070.
Oh, good
So,
God.
We don't have any money to pay. We have to tell our parents. We're 16. Tell my parents. I actually wound up borrowing money from my grandma, and I worked the summer to pay it off. And that's my beginning story of gambling. And I was hooked ever since.
Yeah. Like a normal person would probably just
Sometimes
quit,
like,
I think.
you need to lose like that to be to like.
Yeah,
I-
maybe that would stop you from like if
Yeah.
another random person's like, yo, I got a lock, maybe you're like, hold on a second.
yeah.
Just
I don't know about that. I mean, I did quit for a while. Obviously, you quit after a while.
Yeah.
You don't have the money to pay. Whenever you lose a lot of money,
you still got it in
you
your
quit
blood.
for a
though.
while.
You're still gonna.
It's in your blood.
no, yeah, you're always gonna have the itch. But
Yeah.
You quit for a while, though. Obviously.
nah, man, when I ever hear the word lock or this, that, and the other,
Anything lock, you're out.
Yeah.
please.
So, do you have anything about that? Like your first time?
I mean, my one bad loss, I just would never forget. I was working here. It was like my first year or two here, and I wasn't really betting that crazy. I was betting like a couple hundred a game.
That's crazy for enough people, bro.
Well, it depends. It depends.
And I lost like 4 in a row. So I was down like 1,200. And
That's
I'll
a
never
lot.
forget it. Strasburg was on Nationals, best pitcher in the world. It was like his last game at home, and everyone loved him.
He was nasty
And he was
back then.
playing against the Cubs at the time. That year, whatever year that was,
Cubs sucked.
they were terrible.
Yeah.
And they're like minus like 350. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put 1,000 on Strasburg for the game. Like, even after this win, I'm still gonna be down like 200.
Yeah.
So my greedy self, I'm like, I'm gonna bet the first half. So I bet 1,000 in the first half,
Big mistake.
thinking, all right, now I'll win this. I'll be up 800 after all this is all said and done. Be done with it. First
That's
inning.
the end of it.
First inning, top of the first,
Grand Slam,
I'm
probably.
sure it's the end.
6-0 Cubs. They kick fucking Strasburg out. Get the hell out of here.
Marty Mush.
He might
You
not have
hearing
bet
this?
since.
You're not the same as this guy, my friend.
I'm like, oh my god. But that's not the end of it. So they take him out, and then just to really tease me, the Nationals came back. It's like, 3-6, 4-6, in the third inning. I got a shot here. They're only down by a few runs. Yeah, I lost everything, half the game, everything. So then I was down after that game. I was down like $8,000 off one stupid bet.
Man, that's insane
The
for
gods,
anybody.
The gods.
But this goes back to the system, because who would think that? Who would think, Strasburg at home, his last game at home for the season, obviously he's going to win, right?
Obviously, he's going to win.
But
That's the
Best
best.
when you
That's
go up,
the
yeah.
best way.
And it's so hard to go opposite that.
you can't go opposite.
You could make that. You could do that 100 times, and probably
hardest-
I would say 100 times you'd pick Strasburg.
Maybe 100. Maybe
really
100
think,
out of
right?
100, yeah.
Because it is sometimes like
It's
you say,
either I'm betting Strasburg or I'm not betting.
That was definitely the
Yeah, like
worst.
maybe skip
bet
it.
I'm not
I-
betting it at all.
But again, that's also harder. The easy fucking option is to bet Strasburg.
I know.
I think it's automatic.
Yeah. And again, we've all been there. I mean,
But that's the thing with baseball. With the system, you're not going to bet the underdog in that game. Because that's not system.
no.
It's not.
Unless the spread was like minus 130 Strasburg.
Well,
Yeah.
Then
And you know
you
he's
bet the other
dominant.
team.
The last series,
Yes.
this game, when the Yankees are playing the Mets, and the Yankees are like plus 150, and they already lost the first game. The Yankees are never plus money.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you go against the Yankees? You know?
one does.
And no one does.
Except
and like,
us three.
Oh, you're getting plus money. I got to the Yankees.
And they lost last night.
And-
They're going
and-
to win.
And they lost
That
again.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they,
So Mets was a system that bad, but system does not work with the baseball at all.
no.
All right. So, do you want to give us a story? Well, you kind of did with the.
Yeah,
Irish.
I mean, look, I used to gamble when I came over, back in Ireland. Then when I came over here, I continued to gamble. I kind of blame this guy for getting involved in baseball because, like I said, I still don't know what I'm betting on, but I still will bet it. I mean, look, I don't have
bet baseball. I can't say it enough.
I don't have anything specific, but before the system, man, honestly, I feel like I could have bet maybe 19 college games, probably lost like 17 of them.
It's
Like,
true, man.
Bang, 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 and
It's true.
But you always hit the favorite. Some big team, Alabama's like minus 55.
when you're desperate,
some
it looks
shit
so
team.
good.
Us three are gamblers. You're a gambler. If you're watching this, how many times have you lost 10 in a row? I have.
I
Yeah.
definitely have.
Until when I found the system, it's never happened. Maybe once.
I'm not even sure.
There's one week that, they got, throw a bone to them.
Yeah, they're look, everyone's got that week, no matter what, where they have won, they've cleaned up, and that's probably why you come back gambling.
Gamblers have to win sometimes. Vegas needs to give you the win.
They gotta give
Otherwise,
they gotta
if
give
you
you one
lost
week.
every single time, why would you bet for it?
If
It's
Vegas
impossible to
ma-
win.
It
Yeah, Vegas threw
goes
out,
without saying.
they threw out a couple of hamburgers
Yeah.
throughout the season.
Cheeseburgers, maybe?
They throw a little
Medium.
cheese on there.
Yeah.
Jalapeno
It's
peppers in
cheeseburger
there.
deluxe. just to pull you back in. Just when
Mayonnaise
you-
or ketchup?
just when you're ready to
I like
leave,
ketchup.
they pull you right back in. It's,
Exactly.
no, it
And
is
that's
true.
the system. But the system is much more complex than what we're actually saying right now. And
Which honestly, down the line, we might go into like the pure specifics of it.
we will eventually.
But first, right now, it's
We
probably
want to give some picks.
yeah, want to give
Yeah.
some picks, do a proof of concept, and then
Proof of
go
concept.
from there. You know what I mean?
I just want to let you guys know that the system what we've narrowed it down to football. Us three.
Definitely football's the
We've
main.
narrowed it down to football. Football is system. You trust the system on football, and that's that.
Basketball,
Basketball's pretty good too.
if the main player is out,
Well, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
gotta talk about that
yeah.
later. We gotta talk about that.
We're not getting
Oh,
into that.
whoa.
Yeah.
Basketball
sorry,
and spots
sorry.
is good. But, yeah.
What do you
Farm-
think?
Don't give away the farm.
So, the system is great on football, college football, and the NFL. With college football, it kind of doesn't start for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, football does start this week. We're going to give you a couple picks, but we're not going to say it's system. We're just going to say it's pretty good. Same with next week. Week after that, NFL starts and college football system starts. And with the NFL, it starts right away.
NFL, you're ready to
right away.
we're ready
right
to jump
from
in
the
this
start,
straight
right out the
away.
gate.
We will be ready to go.
College,
baby.
you have an idea, but at the end of the day, you're dealing with kids. And
You're dealing with kids.
Yeah, you don't
You
know.
gotta let them get in there first.
last
you
year
know?
is no better than this year is better than whatever. So you just got to see. Vegas don't even know what they're doing with the line sometimes.
Exactly.
Like-
We need Vegas to know what they're doing with the lines for
Just
us to be
so
good
true.
with the system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really
We
is.
need Vegas to know what they're doing. The only way we can be good at gambling is if we know Vegas knows.
Yeah, once Vegas got a grasp on it, then we got a grasp on it.
Yes.
But, like, how many times have you
And
been?
that is the best way to put it, really.
It really is, because how many times have you bet something and you're always like, that's line 6.5, and you lose by
And that's
7.
why-
You lose by half point. You're like, Vegas, how do they know?
And that's why
we
you say
will
that
tell
during-
you how to get on the
during
other side of that
2020,
line.
during COVID.
Seamus.
It's so true.
Skeff. My man.
But during
That's what
2020, you
it
said that
is.
you lose because of COVID because there was no fans. It alters
It
a lot
was
of
weird.
things.
I stuck to the system during 2020, but maybe there's something with the fans.
I think we should all ignore 2020.
I'm a
just
big
this race.
believer. You know,
Everything.
Never happened.
Yes, we're not gonna talk about 2020 in this chat.
Period.
We're not gonna talk about COVID-19. We're gonna talk about COVID-17, if anything. But hold on. What was I saying? The fans.
Yes.
We're not gonna say that it was. That's what I was thinking. Home field advantage is not something to think about as a gambler. It is something that bad gamblers think about when they're gambling.
That's good.
It's not much of a difference.
It doesn't mean anything at all. All that matters is the spread on the game and what that makes you think about the game itself. What does the spread make you want to bet? And then opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to look at the game, see what it wants you to do,
Yes.
take all those
complete
factors,
opposite.
put them on this side, and then jump on the other
Let's
side.
go with an example that I'm going to make up in my head. The Chiefs are a great team. Everyone knows that, right? Football, right?
Great.
Yeah.
The Giants suck. We
Giants
know
are
that.
horrible.
I'm a huge Giants fan.
Watch them every
I
year.
go to 2 away games every year.
And they
I
lose.
actually went to the Kansas City game last year.
was great.
with the Giants. It was good. So, you were there?
Yeah, great people. People are great. Shout out to Kansas.
Let's say, for example, the Giants are playing the Chiefs week 1 this year, which they're not. Chiefs are favored by 3. Who the fuck's going to bet the Giants in that game? Who the fuck's going to bet the Giants
No
in that
one.
game? Who?
No one with a brain.
No one with a brain, except for me. I'm taking the Giants in that game, not because I'm a Giants fan, because
It's a fishy line.
it's a fishy line. That line is fishy.
Very
I can
fishy.
smell fish from a mile away. That's
Yeah.
what we're here for. The System Podcast is here, and we smell fish.
That's it.
Snapper.
Snapper.
We smell the fish. All right.
That it's about finding those lines. I mean, look, again, every weekend there's between college and NFL there could be close to 100 games. There might be 100 games for all I
100
know.
games.
Yeah, college.
So you
yeah.
can't bet every single game. It's about finding the 20,
The fishy,
the
weird
15.
lines.
Yeah.
I do bet a lot of games, but he's right. It's about finding those specific games that are in your favor. You're not going to win them all. It just doesn't happen that way. You're never going to win all your bets. There's going to be a week, though, where we're going to win all our bets. And I'm telling you right now,
It's gonna
there's
be-
going to be a week where we win all of our bets.
It's gonna be
And
scary.
you're all going to be amazed. and you will see. There might be 2 weeks in a row that happens.
We had a run before where it might extended 5 weeks. It was October to through November.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Last year we crushed it, man, and that's why this podcast is here. You think this podcast is here because we suck?
Yeah. That make no sense.
We're just
To
funny
just
guys.
Just to start this for no reason, yeah.
What do you think we're funny
And look-
guys? We're not funny guys. We're just
Yeah,
we're
he's
kidding.
alright. But you'll see once we get this going down the line, forget about it.
What's his phone? Like, I mean, come on.
That's all right. Forget it.
System.
Listen, I'm going to tell you the story about. I was in the barbershop. Look, I got a fresh cut last week. I don't get a cut every week. I get a cut every month. That is very rare for someone from Yonkers.
It looks pretty good.
Most Yonkers people get their hair cut every week.
I do.
Maybe every 3 days. I get my hair cut once a month at most.
If that.
So I went to my barber. He's an old Italian guy named Mario, Super Mario. He's eating mushrooms like a maniac. And I was the only one in there getting my hair cut, and there's 3 barbers. And they said, "Are you ready for football?" And I just couldn't wait to talk about what I had to
You
say.
wanted to talk about the system right
Yes.
immediately.
No,
So-
he doesn't want to talk about it sometimes,
I
right?
usually don't. Honestly, I really don't talk about the system. To
Yeah,
no-
but let me tell you
to
something,
normal people.
Mario.
But
Mario really pulled
I
it out
mean,
of
you're
him.
talking to your barber here. Your barber,
Yeah.
your barber's
Yeah.
close.
How many things can you talk about if you're
So
barber?
yeah. So the barber goes, "Are you ready for football?" And I go, "Bro, I can't wait for football.
You don't
You
even
have no
know."
idea. I'm dying over here." So he goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "I'm a big gambler. Like I only gamble on football. I mean, I
That's it.
try to only gamble on football."
Yeah.
Which is tough, but
Impossible.
I've narrowed it down to football, and I really try to only gamble on football. And he goes, well, do you do good? I said, I actually do really good. I do really good, and that's that. And and then the other barber goes, they all chime in, and he goes, well, give me the secret. And I go, you really want to know the secret? He's literally sitting right where you were. And
You want to know the
I go, you really
secret?
want to
You want to know the secret?
You really want to know the secret? And he goes, gabagool. And I said, the secret is, if you really, really love a bet, like you think it's a lock, to take the opposite.
Yeah, that's automatic. That's like the number one thing.
See,
Yeah.
these guys, these barbers that I had, they're older men, and they loved it. Like they couldn't wait to hear what I had to say after that. And I just kept talking about this and that.
And they
about the
listened?
system. They listened to every word
Right.
about it. And I remember I finished my haircut and I left and I gave a guy a tip and I go, here's the extra tip because of inflation. And he go, and then I go, remember,
System.
opposite.
Yeah.
I said opposite. I didn't say system because I didn't really tell him like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
system. I just said opposite because I usually tell people like when I talk about the system, I usually I simplify it by saying
You gotta simplify.
It's the opposite of what you
Saying
think.
opposite is the first way to get someone
Yeah.
on board. If you know what I mean. If you try to explain it to them, they're not gonna listen. People don't listen. I
First
don't
of all,
fucking
like,
listen.
they don't even know what that word even
It
means.
goes
Oh,
on
system? Like,
much
oh.
longer. Like if someone really wants to know, and if I tell them opposite of what you think, and then they really start asking me questions, like I'll go on. I'll tell them about the ESPN thing. I'll tell them about other things. I'll tell them about
Sometimes people ask you that and they don't want to listen even. You know what I mean?
most people.
'Cause
Most
if
people
the-
when
people-
they're listening, they just want to wait until they can talk.
They're thinking of what they're going to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
They're not listening to what you're
That's
saying.
90% of people.
No,
Yeah.
most people don't listen when they're actually listening,
Also, no one wants to see you win. They want to see you lose.
and that's
That's the number one thing.
most people love to see you lose.
Do I give a fuck if you win or not? I don't give a shit. So
Unless you're
They might
involved
hate
in the
to see
bet.
you win, really.
Yeah. Because then
They-
it's jealousy. Oh,
It is jealousy.
If I was on the same bet as you, yeah, we want to win.
Yeah.
But if you win and fight me,
and I had nothing on that
man,
game. I don't give a.
I think that's
Even
like
even us three hate to
It's-
see each other win.
Yeah, I just
Nothing makes me more happier, but-
system fucking.
yeah.
Sparno hates the system.
Yeah.
Sometimes I send Sparno
Like,
system bets that are opposite just so he
I
loses.
took a little bit of a break, and you guys are on the system, and you guys are
Let me
winning.
tell you, this guy,
You guys are winning $1,000.
He's not a believer yet.
this guy, my friend,
I'm a little skeptical of the
he
system.
might get involved in the system this year. He's been skeptical of the system for a
Yeah.
very, very long time.
But like when you guys are winning, like I wasn't even doing anything. I wasn't gambling for about almost a year. Almost a year, maybe like 6 months. But you guys are winning, and I'm like, all right, yeah, it's in turnaround, it's in turnaround. And you kept winning. I'm like, and like, listen, you guys are my friends.
That was that 6 weeks that I was talking about.
In the back of my mind, I'm like, fuck
wishes
them.
he was with us.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I wish they fucking just lose.
or you wish you were with us.
Wish I was with you, or wish that like, all right,
We
get,
lose.
get back to
Yeah.
reality that it's not
Yeah,
working.
yeah, yeah.
It's like you got to swallow your pride
Yeah.
And just be like, you know what? Because honestly, like I said to you, I don't know baseball. I think I know football, but if I really just say I don't know football, if you say to yourself you don't know something, then you can follow the system.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because you
that's
take your
definitely-
ego out of the way.
Seamus.
You think that
You just gave me an orgasm.
Thank you. Second one today.
I love how you said that. I really do. That is exactly the truth.
Oh god.
So good. So the system is hard to grasp.
Yeah.
The system is not easy to get. Like, if you're a regular gambler, most people, all right, those 3 guys in the barbershop, they loved it. They really were captivated. I doubt they're going to really follow through on that.
Yeah.
But most people that I tell, like the week after, I'm in my bar and I'm bartending. And my bar is Growlers in Tuckahoe, by the way. Growlers
Shout out
Beer
Growlers.
Bistro. Come by.
Tuckahoe, New York.
Yes. So-
Very
So,
good beers.
I'm bartending in there, and I'm talking to a couple regulars, right? They're bartending, they're just sitting at the bar drinking, and they're talking about gambling. So I'm like, all right, let me chime in. So I told them exactly what I said to those barbers, and I actually told them that I said this to the barbers.
Probably didn't.
And the second I said the opposite of what I think, the guy said, "Oh, this guy's an idiot. Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. What is he talking about? Like,
Hater.
How can it be?
Player
Like,
hater, player hater.
every bet is 50-50 because
Player hater.
Vegas makes
He's a
it
big player hater.
50-50. Yeah. They think, everyone that gambles thinks, oh, Vegas makes every bet so that it's 50-50.
Not at all.
That is not
No,
the way
it's
it
not
works.
true at all.
That is not the way we think it works. You might think it works
Yeah.
that way, but that is not the way we think it works, and
Definitely
we're
not.
the ones who win now. So
Vegas is making it 80-20 in their favor at least.
I
Well,
1000%
also
Might
with the
be
line
more.
is that it is close. They're trying to make it even as best as possible.
when the lines are moving, maybe. But the second that line comes out, well, usually in the NFL, the line comes out like a week before.
Yeah, come out pretty early.
And it might be very different than that final line.
especially with injuries and stuff, which is another
Yeah,
point of
injuries
view,
are different.
You know what I mean?
But,
Yeah,
well, injuries, we
Or-
know about injuries.
injuries are great, by the way.
Well, that's gonna be a big thing.
That's gonna be a big
just,
thing.
Just you wait.
Which you'll notice
Injuries,
it.
just
Oh,
you wait.
I'd say.
Injuries are going to be a
Depending on
great
how the
thing.
season goes and depending on injuries, we're just going to give you bang bang picks that week. You're not going to think they make sense, and then you'll see what happens.
Just wait.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
Oh, let me add one thing here. So, we're going to give you picks on this podcast, but the way we gamble is really kind of last minute. So, what we're going to try to do here is give you guys the picks, the ones that we really know we're going to give you on this podcast. But there's going to be last minute ones that we're going to have to share on Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah, like I mean, look when we're doing this,
Before
show,
the game
yeah,
start, like maybe 15, 20
Yeah,
minutes
we
before
can't
the game
pick a
starts.
game 2 days before the game.
It's hard to pick a game until the game starts.
So you got to do it a couple hours before the game.
Yeah, or maybe really 20 minutes.
The
before
hour,
the
yeah,
game.
hour before the game.
look, like I said, there's going to be 100 games on. I'll probably have for myself. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to have 5 picks
Yeah.
on the show every week, which I love, and I'll put them out there. And then on our Twitter, just before the game starts, I'll have a few more. And
And when Seamus says he loves those bets, he means he hates them, and that's why he's betting.
It's a reverse love. And we will tally them up as each week goes by, and that's
Yeah.
sort of see how we rate the system, I guess, you know.
So, my bookie hates me so much. He hates me. I actually texted him today and asked him if I could bet again this year, and he said yes.
It's a huge win for the system.
I can't believe it because I thought I was doomed.
He cut him off last year, I think,
He
right?
cut me off a couple times. All right, so when I figured out the system, all right, first of all, I've been betting with this bookie since I sucked. So I lost a lot of money to this guy.
Real quickly for people, it's like betting in New York wasn't legal technically, so you had to find guys to bet
Yes.
through. So,
So I've been
we all
bet-
know they exist.
Yeah, I've been betting with this guy since the beginning of my gambling. Well, not the beginning. Not that story I told was a different guy. But
That was Bob.
like when I really started
Big Bob.
gambling again, when I was older and I had some money to gamble, I've been using this guy the whole time. And I sucked. I lost so much money to this guy. But I'm a bookie's dream. I was always a bookie's dream.
Yeah. Is he pay?
That's what they say.
You pay?
Because I pay and I lose. And I lost
What more
and
do you
I
want?
paid. And if I couldn't pay, I found the money and I paid it. I
Or
took
even
out,
if it took a few weeks, whatever you pay.
I took out loans. I borrowed from friends. I'm paying.
Borrowed
and then
from
I
me.
pay those guys back. And I had a great job here at this bar, Raisin Fox, where I can make that money back quick. And
Luckily.
Luckily, thank God.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
didn't, I'd be dead, and
It's-
this
yeah.
podcast would not even be here.
It's-
So thank God for this bar,
Be a man,
because
Dad.
I'd be dead right now, or my knees would be broken. I wouldn't be able to bartend to make that money back. So I lost plenty of money to this guy. So when I figured out the system, let me talk about how I figured out the system.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Did we do that?
I don't think so.
All right. So I lost so much money. I probably lost. I can't. I don't even want to say. It's embarrassing to say
Yeah,
how
you
much
say
money
on
I
there.
lost. It's embarrassing. If my family's watching, they might stab me. And
I would never admit what I lost.
and then this podcast won't go on anymore. But all right, I
Yeah,
lost a lot of
it's a lot.
money, and I kept losing, and I always paid.
Think whatever is a lot of
So
money
the
to you,
bookie
and then
fucking
double
loves
it.
me. The bookie, yeah. Whatever's a lot for you, double it. All right, Dave Portnoy. So, I said to myself, I gotta quit. I have to quit. I have to. There's nothing I can do. I cannot gamble anymore. There's no way. I'm sitting to myself in the room. I cannot gamble anymore. Like, this is after one of those Sundays where I'm sitting in the basement stairs and I'm praying to the Lord. I'm not even watching the TV. Please, God, just let me win this game, and I will never bet
never
again.
again. Never
No,
again.
I'm gonna
I
tell you.
had those prayers.
You've done this many
I've
times.
done
I had
that.
those prayers about 20 times.
100 times.
Please,
More than
God,
20, 100.
and I don't even go to church. Please, God, let me win this game, and I
I've
will
never-
never bet again.
Yeah. This is the last one ever.
And maybe I might have won that game, but it didn't matter. But
Either
whatever.
way, you're still going to bet again.
Yeah.
So I lost so much money, and I paid. And I said to myself, I can't stop gambling. I can't. I just can't do it.
It's impossible.
I know that I can't.
It's really impossible.
I know that I can't not gamble.
It's like breathing.
I'm sitting in my room
It's like
by
breathing.
myself, and I know that I can't not gamble. Is that a double negative?
I can't not gamble.
I can't not.
not-
Is this Michael Scott with the
So
not gamble? So I can't not gamble. So I'm like sitting there, and it just hit me, man. It was like the gods came down.
Yeah.
It's not even a joke. I'm laughing because it's funny, but it's not even a joke. I said to myself, why don't I just do the exact opposite of what I'm doing?
I know how we don't think like I've never felt that way, but
I suck. I lose 10 games in a row. If I did the opposite,
It's
I
every-
win
yeah.
10
Yeah,
games
it's
in a
in a
row.
row.
it's that simple.
Why don't I just do the opposite? How do I not think
It's
that?
so hard to do that. Like, if you feel so strongly about something,
Exactly.
That's what's hard about
And
it.
that's
Because
the
you want to
thing.
prove yourself right.
And it's
like, you
especially
smart.
about a man. And I'm going to give you the definition of a man right now because
Yeah,
I am
pride.
a man.
Yeah, pride.
And I can.
Okay.
Your pronouns now?
No. A man has so much pride, and it's so hard for a man to go against his will.
Yes.
And that is the greatest part about being on the right side of the system.
Look, do you want me to admit right now?
Sometimes,
My
yeah.
name is Seamus Cavington, and I suck at batting, and yet I'm a winner.
My name is Philip Gasparino, and I suck at gambling.
My name is Mike Sparno. I suck at gambling.
But yet, in the last 5 years, we haven't won any more money in our lives.
We've crushed it.
Yeah. And that's what's going to happen this season. Another
We're going to
season
show
in the
you.
books.
The reason is
And that's like you said. It's hard to go against your gut. Hard to go against, like you said, yeah, having pride. Go against your, what you think, but you just got to do it. That's it.
That's one of the facets of the system, definitely.
like that's the main part about the system, but it's really not the whole system. And we'll get into that. But it's not important. I mean, if you hear that, if you're a bad gambler right now and you hear that, just try it out. What's the worst that could happen?
yeah.
It's not worse
Try
than it
that
is right
for-
now, I'll tell you that much.
That is actually true.
It's not worse than it is right now.
Take whatever.
Yeah, it
take
can't get any worse.
The bet
I know that.
whatever you're betting on this weekend, whatever you think,
Yes.
just do the opposite and put like $10 in it.
Yeah.
It means nothing to you.
Just see what
And,
happens.
yeah, it honestly is, and that just might start you on the way to flip over. It's
It is hard because if you really like something, you're like, oh, I want to bet this.
Yeah.
And it's
It's so
really
hard.
it's really hard to
Because-
just
But
during
I
the
am
season, I still find myself sometimes like,
Yes.
Like,
That's
you know,
another thing.
I've actually bet against the system sometimes because I'm
That's
just
another thing.
an ignorant man.
Another thing is sometimes when you have become so good at the system, sometimes you don't know what the opposite is.
That's true enough too. Yeah.
That's the one hard thing.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you're gonna see
system
that.
is this, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
what's real, what's not.
You're gonna see that again this year.
But
We'll figure that out.
this is when you had people that you know, and you see what the mainstream's going with.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a good thing about being a bartender and a barber. I told those guys at the barbershop, like, you have a great job for this. Ask 5 guys what they like this
If there's
weekend.
8 idiots upstairs, and they're like, oh yeah, I like the Giants this week, and whoever doesn't matter who they're playing the Eagles. Oh yeah, I like the Giants. Like, there's no way the Giants, all you 8 idiots are gonna be happy and having a great time.
100%.
There's no way it's happening.
100%.
Not
Like,
happening.
I was just telling you before at the bar, and we were before this podcast, and we were trying to figure out what we were going to say in this podcast because we're kind of like idiots. I said, I said, I was working at Jackie B's, and 5 guys were sitting there, and I remember it was last year. It was NFL. Jets were playing the Cowboys. The Cowboys were on fire, and they were like 4.5-point favorites against the terrible Jets.
They started so
terrible,
good.
terrible Jets. 4.5-point favorites. Everyone in the bar said, "Oh, I can't wait to bet the Cowboys tomorrow. I cannot wait to bet the Cowboys." And I said, "I don't know, guys. I already knew about the system, but I was pretending like I'm just a regular guy, saying, I don't know, guys. Maybe the Jets is a good pick." I'm trying to like convince them.
Probably laughed at
crazy.
it.
And they were like,
little
"Oh,
bit.
you're such an idiot."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, you're an idiot."
an
The
idiot.
second I heard the word "you're an idiot," I went
That's
to Wells
music
Fargo,
to my ears.
took out $100 grand, and put it on the Jets, and I won. And I didn't even watch the game. I went home. I popped a bottle of champagne.
Like, I already
This
know
is
I won.
Saturday night. This is Saturday night before Sunday. Popped the bottle of
Took his
champagne.
girlfriend out for a nice dinner.
I fucking poured it all over myself in my room, and I just slept through Sunday, and I
Yeah.
woke up the next day and I won $100 grand. All right, boys. All right, what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at our phones, and we're going to look at this Saturday's games, which is the beginning of college football, which is our favorite season of the season.
It's like Christmas.
The boys are ready. It's Christmas. Christmas
It
in
is
July.
Christmas, yeah.
Start off?
Yeah, it's August, but I'll let you have that one. I mean, I think there's 11 games this weekend, so it's not like we said before. It's like it'll take a few weeks to get into the swing of things.
Thank God.
But look,
Thanks for saying that.
we're all degenerates here.
We like to gamble.
You're not gonna let week 1 go by without like
We can't not bet.
dipping your toes in the water.
We have to bet. We know the system's not ready yet. We told you the system's
the
not ready
first
yet.
week is not.
Don't
system.
hold us to this. Don't hold us to this.
You're
But
giving me a little
I
taste.
really do like one. I really do like one game.
I'll go
this
2
weekend.
games,
Okay.
and that's
gonna give you
pushed. Go ahead.
So we got 9 p.m. on Saturday. University of North Texas.
Who?
Exactly. Versus UTEP, which is University of what the hell? Who knows?
I don't know.
It's in Texas too, I think. Oh, where the hell's UTEP? I've been there before.
It has to be like
I've been to
Texas.
UTEP. It's fucking whatever. It's UTEP. Who cares? So
University of Texas El Paso.
Yeah.
there you go.
Texas, El
Texas El Paso. El Paso. I've been there.
He has.
I've actually been on the field because I used to date someone who was famous from.
Oh, here we go.
I don't want to. All right, I'm not going to.
It's a-
That doesn't matter.
She wasn't
So-
famous.
There.
She was. But all right. So this game. All right. I'm going to give you my input in this game. What do you guys see in this game? Do you guys see anything?
I don't see nothing.
I would go for UTEP.
Because Seamus knows. All right. I'm not going to give you the ESPN thing, but I'm going to say that this is an even spread. So it's basically a pick 'em. UTEP didn't win. What did they win? 1 game last season? They sucked. And UNT was pretty good. In the all right, the last.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at the last 5 games from last season. UNT beat the 22 UTSA number 22 team and won 4 out of 5. And they crushed UTEP. Oh no, they beat them 20-17
I saw crushing.
in that last 5.
Well, I'd say my play of the week on Saturday would be.
Hold on, wait.
Sorry.
Jesus. Am I done?
Nancy,
Am I done?
he's very excited.
Jesus.
Sorry.
This guy went from 0 picks to the pick of the
UTEP won
season.
1 out of 5 in the last 5. And the spread's even. It's an even spread. UNT should be favored by at least 3. I'd say if UNT was favored by 3, I wouldn't bet this game at all. If UNT was favored by 7, I might bet UNT. That's the way I think. And it's very weird the way I think, but that's how it is. So I'll tell you one thing. Maybe this won't air, but ESPN has UNT winning by 60%. That's another reason. why I like
Big
it.
red flag.
Yeah,
That's a red
huge
flag.
red flag.
They're begging you to bet UNC.
I'm begging, please.
They're begging you. So I'm going to take UTEP, and that's my pick of the week. What do you got?
My pick of the week is Northwestern because I love the underdogs first week.
Wowza. This is why Sparno
Keep
is
going.
not a believer, but going ahead.
Yeah, I'm still whatever. against
He's
it.
still a Sparno.
But I like Northwestern because they're plus 13.
Wait, what else?
Do not. Yeah,
No,
I'm not.
give
I'm
me
not
more.
interrupting.
No,
Give
two,
me more,
two
give me more.
touchdowns, and you think, oh, Nebraska, they're going to kill them. Oh, it's only 2 touchdowns. It's nothing. Northwestern's the pick of
The 13 thing is a little fishy, too. You're right.
That's why I like it. It's system.
I did like Nebraska in that game. But
So did I. So just as a heads up pick, I will just
That's
head
fine.
on,
That's
I will
fine.
take Nebraska.
That's
Based
fine.
Completely against him. Like he
reason
said,
why
they're on the
Nebraska-
road and they're 13-point favorites. People are going to go for the home team. It's the first game of the season.
yeah.
That's not true.
And if you look at the last year, their last 5 games, both of them lost all 5, got crushed.
Yeah,
So
Nebraska.
why is Nebraska a 13-point favorite? That's fishy. That's fishy.
I'm a big Northwestern guy. I don't know.
Probably
taking
because he
Nebraska.
watches ESPN.
I'm
watches
just letting you guys know
Pardon
I'm going
interruption.
to
Mike
bet-
Wilbon goes to friggin' Northwestern. He bigs him up
Who?
every week. Mike Wilbon from its Pardon
I don't know
interruption.
what that is.
You don't know that there? He went to that university, and
All right.
every week he picks them. And it's stuff like that gets into your head. I'll guarantee Nebraska win.
I'm
All right.
going to bet Nebraska in that game.
So am I.
All right, good luck.
I'm telling you guys right now, I'm taking Nebraska. And now that he said that, I'm taking him even
yeah,
harder.
I'm-
you know
I'll
what?
double down.
Maybe this, like, you know.
This is how the system works,
That
my
is.
friend.
Yeah, I didn't want to put it out there, but
This is how the system works.
It's possible. but
public batting is known as Sparno batting.
Yeah,
So-
you know what?
Whatever the Sparnos do, me and Phil, the system,
This
do
is
opposite.
why he is on the show. For this reason, we're taking Nebraska. So we got Nebraska and we got UTEP.
Yeah, and you know
Do you
what?
like anything else?
I mean, I'm just going to pull out
So
them.
I just reassured you with Nebraska.
It's-
We actually
yeah.
did. Because we actually, before you, when you were working, we were
That was
saying
the
Nebraska.
because
Oh
it's
my
such
God.
it's such a small slate. There's 11 games on. So you know what? I'm just going to dip my fingers and
You know what? Just in the first few weeks, I always like the underdog because I feel like they don't really know what's
No,
going
but
on.
you know what? He could be right because it is the first week.
First week we'll see.
We will see.
Say, you
That
know
one's
what?
not. And
Look,
look,
let the better man win. See what happens.
The Sparnos do win the first week.
I'm going to do, and it's not really systems. Just look, I grew up in Ireland. I followed English soccer my whole life. I have a pretty good grasp on it. So this weekend, Wolverhampton playing Newcastle United. Newcastle United just came off a tie with Man City, probably the best team in the UK. So them being a favourite, Newcastle being a favourite means that I want to take Wolverhampton. Everyone just watched them tie with Man City. They think, you know what, Newcastle's going to win because they just tied with Man City.
Easy
Wolverhampton are bottom 3. So I will take Wolverhampton to win that game.
I don't know if the system works with soccer, but I mean,
I tr-
system-wise,
I trust the
that sounds
Irishman.
good.
I
Trust the Irishman.
Spot
Yeah.
betting in soccer is my
Because
Trust
thing.
the
you know what?
Irishman?
Here, no one bets soccer, so I trust
Wolverhampton
Trust
Wonders.
the system.
That's
And that's it.
you. That's
So-
it.
it's a wrap for now.
We created an email, trustthesystempodcast@gmail.com. If you have any games that you want us to decide on for you, we will send us
We'll guide you.
an email. We'll give you the pick.
As I say, there's 100 games every weekend. We're going to try our best to get. You can't get through them all.
Can't. And we just don't want to bet them all. In order to win at gambling, you can't bet all the games.
You
do it.
can't. But I understand when you support a team
Yeah.
and then putting a little bit of money in them.
Yeah,
it
makes
just
it even
makes
better.
yeah, it makes it way
100%.
better. It's not even freaking a
So
question.
if you need us to make the pick for you, we'll give you the opposite of what you think.
So that's Trust the System Podcast at Gmail.
Get it
That's
again.
our picks. My personal Instagram is Sparnizzle. Phil?
You got to spell that shit, bro.
Oh, SPARNIZZLE.
That's 2 Z's.
2 Z's.
My Instagram is PipoG7, PIPPOG7.
I actually don't have an Instagram, but we are, watch out, because we are going to have our own Instagram pretty soon, our own Twitter, and we'll be popping out pics probably actually daily, really.
So what we're
depending on
going to do
goes on.
is try to give you the picks that we know for sure on this podcast. And then separately, we're going to give you picks on our Twitter, probably mostly on the Twitter and the Instagram
Yeah.
right before the game. So be ready for it and be ready for our Instagram. All right? Thank you.